In Sri Lanka, a tiny island nation nestled within the Indian Ocean in South Asia, LGBTQ rights are still largely unrecognized, and homosexuality is criminalized. I talked to various members of the community, from leading activists to renowned celebrity chefs, to get an understanding of what it's truly like to be a queer person living on this island, amid societal pressures to conform or be damned. This is an exploration of the challenges of having to navigate societal stigma, to live life on one's own terms. Meet Rosanna Flema Caldera, the founder and executive director of Equal Ground, one of the first LGBTQ advocacy groups in Sri Lanka.
Many years ago, 20 years ago in fact, we decided that a group of us decided that there wasn't really an organization that was active working for the entire community and without the focus on HIV, AIDS. So there was a lot to do about acceptance of LGBTIQ persons, plus decriminalizing the laws that criminalize consenting same-sex sexual relationships between adults. So we just got together in my dining room and we just started it.
Meet Kolu, a celebrity chef and former drag queen with his own popular spice brand.
So for me, I've had zero challenges or discrimination. I think being my flamboyant self has helped me for somewhat reason. Don't ask me why. And no, we are a very homophobic country. Colombo, strange enough, but fortunately my friends are not. And it somehow shaped. I became this larger-than-life gay chef, this personality, this fame I didn't go looking for, it just thrust upon me. So, which I accepted happily.
Benny is a trans, non-binary, feminine expressing person, a queer rights activist, and a fashion designer who owns her own clothing brand.
Basically, since I'm feminine expressing and everything, I do pass as a woman in public. I do not get mispronounced most of the time. Most of the time people call me Miss, Madam, all the time basically. But like sometimes with my 5 o'clock shadow and everything, it's kind of difficult. People do notice me.
Currently, there are 2 laws which criminalize adult same-sex relationships within Section 365 and Section 365A of Sri Lanka's Penal Code. These discriminatory laws were first introduced after colonization by the British and continue on to this day.
People actually don't particularly know the law, but they just feel that because there is a law that criminalizes, that means we are all criminal regardless of what we do or what we say or who we are. Matter of fact, that law can only be used if a person is caught in the act of having a sexual relationship with a person of the same sex, either in public or in private. So I can stand on the street and say I'm a lesbian, nobody can arrest me. But what the police and other people do is harass LGBTIQ persons, arbitrarily arrest them, assault them, and all that other stuff that goes on when police get a hold of you here in Sri Lanka.
So I think one of the biggest advantage is I run my own business, or even if I don't run my own business, I am my own person. I made a name for myself as a chef. So I have had no issue because I always get work and people have no problem working with me. What I think people in these, sometimes it's a social pressure in the village especially, and in Colombo also, that people tend to get into the shell, get into these closets. I think it's best to come out and tell whoever you are at whatever consequences. But of course the problem is some parents are not understanding yet. And they might, but I think Colombo is a little more open to it now. And it's about time people got up and smelled the coffee, as you would say,
There's a huge history where no one really talks about. And I feel like Sri Lankan people, that's the biggest issue. Then they think it's a foreign concept and they're still not aware about things, or like they're still not like exposed to these things. So because of that, they're still afraid and they still have like really negative mindset about it.
I also spoke to Professor Bruno Shirley to get a deeper understanding of some notable historical implications of the LGBTQ community that may have existed in Sri Lanka's ancient past.
In terms of identities, there are certainly categories of people in pre-modern Buddhist texts that we might want to put under the broad umbrella of queer identities that have varying degrees of we wouldn't go so far to say that they were persecuted by any means. We have no evidence of that. But they certainly weren't held up on the same standard as the ideal straight man was.